I think today would be a good time to ask ourselves, what will bring us joy and happiness? It could be many different things, as maybe a certain house or a top-of-the-line car. Maybe if we had a larger bank account, or if we could win the lottery. It could be if we could only get that one person to notice us and start a relationship. Some of the things that bring happiness are just superficial, and they come and go, but there is also a joy that is deeper and lasting, and a happiness that abides and remains with us. I think the economic crisis that we see now because of the pandemic causes pain to some. And along with all the rest, the uncertainty of things and having to be so careful and wear masks, and we cannot gather together with all our friends and family. These could actually bring us closer to the realization that the only place we will find joy is with God. We are given this gift of Advent where we can find the joyful answers to our problems. A phrase we hear a lot of during this time is happy holidays. And when someone wishes me a happy holiday, I will respond with Merry Christmas. Anyone, even those with no faith, can celebrate happy holidays. But how much better and how much more beautiful is it to have Christ in the center of Merry Christmas, the one and only true gift that is missing from happy holidays is Christ. We only see Christ in Merry Christmas, and if we are not finding our joy and our happiness in Him, we are under an illusion. If we abandon God, we will be on the road to sorrow and pain. In today's reading, Isaiah reminds us that God is the source of our joy. We heard, "I rejoice heartily in the Lord, in my God is the joy of my soul." As we spend time looking for God during this Advent, we could actually use that line to help with our examination of conscience. Is God the joy of our souls? And are we centered on God? Mary's Magnificat, as we heard in our responsorial psalm, we also hear, "My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God my Savior." Again, we are reminded that our joy is in Him. Mary was saved from sin from the beginning of her existence through her immaculate conception by a special grace from Jesus. For you and I, we are saved from our sin after we fall into it because of His passion, death, and resurrection. What a joy we should feel knowing that we have been saved by Jesus. But it is rather sad in that many live much of their days without realizing how precious they are to God. They are worth the price of Jesus, precious blood, and His death. How can we not rejoice in God, our Savior? In the second reading, we are told to pray unceasingly, and in every circumstance we are to give thanks. This is the will of God. So in reality, it is our vocation to rejoice always. We can do this by putting all our trust and hope in God. If we can do that, we can rejoice always in the storms of life that may come our way. Then in the Gospel, we hear John the Baptist says, there is one coming after that he is unworthy to loose the strap of his sandals. We can use this to be a model for our spirituality by knowing our smallness and our nothingness, and knowing that we are unworthy to untie the straps of his sandals. What we see is how John pointed away from himself and he pointed to Jesus. It is through his humility that John models for us where we find our true joy. Greed and pride bear much of the responsibility for many problems in our world today. Only by living this life of humility will we find God. And so we come to the question we ask ourselves, how is our Advent going? Are we preparing a way for the Lord? Are we giving ourselves a chance to see the joy and happiness he has to offer us? Jesus cried as he entered Jerusalem for the last time because the people did not recognize the time of their visitation. They missed out on the grace of God. And this Advent is a time when Jesus will visit you and I if we but allow it. Let us not miss out on it. This Advent season, we should rejoice in the more time that we have to spend in prayer. We can use this time with Jesus to find answers to whatever problems we may have. Just as we look forward to spending time with loved ones, we should also look forward with anticipation to spending time with our Savior. If we were to spend this time only in chasing joy in buying gifts for people that probably don't really need or even want them, is really flying in the face of what Jesus is all about. There truly is only one gift that will bring complete joy, and that is the gift of Jesus. Many people do not like this time of the year, and they find nothing but loneliness and pain and depression as they try to fill their emptiness with things. And we end up seeking things of this world that will never satisfy. Nothing in this world will ever fill the longing that we have in our hearts. Only Jesus can do this. We will find nothing under the tree on Christmas morning that will satisfy. Only Jesus in the Eucharist we receive on Christmas Day. God the Father has given us a great gift in his Son, but it is up to you and I to accept it. So today, as we prepare to receive Jesus in Holy Eucharist, let us spend some time reflecting on how we are spending our Advent time. Are we looking to Jesus to find our joy and happiness, or are we going to just look for it in things of this world? Are we going to take Christ out of Christmas and celebrate happy holidays? Or are we going to rejoice, giving thanks and praise to Jesus, the greatest gift that we will find this year? I think maybe this time of the year, more than any other time, we need to have Jesus in our lives. If we only rely on things of this world and only spend our time searching and seeking things that are under the tree and that fill the stockings, we will find that when it is all over, we will probably find ourselves lonely and empty. Only Jesus can fill the longings of our hearts, and only through him can we find complete joy and happiness. And the good news is that if we really haven't started seeking Jesus this Advent time, it is not too late. He is watching and He is waiting for each of us to go to Him, and He will fill us with His love and His peace and joy that only He can give.